The House Intelligence Committee demanding answers by today. They want to know if there's any hard evidence to support President Trump's claim that President Obama had his phones tapped before Election Day.
First of all, is there information to be produced is one question. But more than that, we're going to have an open hearing on March 20th. We're going to be able to ask the director of the FBI, among others, is there any truth to this? Have they seen any evidence of this? They would be in a position to have to know. And I think on March 20th, if not before, we'll be able to put this to rest.
Michael Goodwin is a New York Post columnist and Fox News contributor and has written a lot about the man at the center of this, FBI Director Jim Comey. He will be in the hot seat. We believe at least part of this hearing will be public for him next week. Do you think he's enjoying being in the spotlight?
I'm afraid he does, though I'm not sure he likes the glare that he's getting lately. Look, when we look back, Shannon, one of the most remarkable things in American history will be that during the 2016 election, both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump were under some kind of FBI investigation or surveillance. Lots of stories, we know about the Clinton case, for example, but lots of stories have been written, including one that's in the New York Times, which said there were wiretaps on Trump associates. So something clearly was going on. The Flynn call was intercepted. The Michael Flynn call was intercepted with the Russian ambassador. Somebody knew that Jeff Sessions had met twice with the Russian ambassador, despite his denial in this congressional confirmation. So something went on in both campaigns, led by, presumably, the FBI, perhaps the CIA, others in the intelligence community. I think Jim Comey has a lot of explaining to do.
Well, you think he is, if not one of the most powerful FBI directors in our history?
Well, look, I mean, just that example that he had both presidential candidates under some kind of investigation at the same time. As they're battling for the White House, they're also battling him. That's extraordinary. I call him in my piece J. Edgar Comey. He had at least, if not more power than J. Edgar Hoover. And, you know, the Hoover example, I think, is instructive, too. Hoover stayed too long. 5 presidents confessed secretly that they wanted to fire him, but were afraid to. Harry Truman accused him of blackmail, and yet wouldn't fire him. He died in office. Richard Nixon named the building after him. It's the building that Jim Comey goes to work in every day. So I do think there is a sense of these guys being above the law themselves, being unaccountable to anybody. This 10-year term, Comey said, you're stuck with me. He doesn't intend to leave. I mean, that's an incredibly brazen thing to do. And then last week, when President Trump said that he had been wiretapped, Comey apparently went around the FBI and Justice Department demanding the Justice Department issue a denial. We only know that because Comey leaked it, or someone close to Comey. Everybody had the story that Comey was furious, incredulous. He had to stand up to Trump. I mean, who rebukes the President of the United States that way, off the record, and gets away with it? That's a mighty big move, and I think there's somebody there with a lot of power that is no longer accountable.
So where do you see this matchup? If it comes to a head between President Trump and the FBI director, how does that play out? Because you mentioned J. Edgar Hoover and 5 presidents wanting to get rid of him, but being afraid, and certainly if there are hints or confirmations that you as the president or those close to you are under some type of FBI investigation, not the best time from a PR stance to be getting rid of the FBI director.
But that goes directly to the point. I mean, should a president of the United States be afraid to fire an FBI director because the FBI director will spill the beans? I mean, that's an incredible moment. I mean, talk about blackmail opportunities. Talk about unaccountable power. I mean, I think that is what's wrong with this whole situation with the FBI, where there are so many leaks about investigations that are never put on the record. Nobody is ever held accountable. Did you ever hear of an FBI agent getting fired for leaking? So all of these things, much of this is classified material that gets leaked. How do we know that Donald Trump's campaign was wiretapped, that associates were wiretapped? Only through leaks.
Very quickly, I want to play a little bit of what Speaker Ryan had to say about the president bringing up these wiretap allegations and how that has impacted this fight over health care.
Did that help or hurt?
Yeah, that wasn't really part of the healthcare marketing campaign.
Yeah, how much off course did that take you?
Like I said, this is going to be an unconventional presidency.
Quickly, how much of that has been a distraction now, the wiretap allegations?
Look, I think if I had advised President Trump, I would have said, be careful when you do this and how you do this. And I think also personalizing it about President Obama, that does, I think, raise the level. And as Paul Ryan was saying, it sucked everybody into something else than what they were supposed to be doing, including the White House. But the cat is now out of the bag. The president has made the charge, and we are about to find out, I hope, whether there was any truth to it or what exactly, I would broaden it, what exactly was the surveillance and investigation of the Trump campaign? What did it find and what did it not find?
Yeah, and as we've talked about, the words and the precision that you use is very important in discussing these cases. All right, Michael Goodwin, good to see you.
Thanks
for coming up.
Back in 2009, where they say that Obama replaced U.S. attorneys, and then in 2017, Trump team oust Obama appointed U.S. attorneys. So why the difference?
You know what? I didn't write those headlines. Truth is that every president, you're both right, has the right to replace a team with anyone they want. Of course, it's a prerogative of any elected official, especially the President of the United States. We don't have a problem agreeing with that. I think the issues with the protocols, I think we don't know what went on in that November conversation that the Attorney General says that he was told he could stay and then he was fired. The one thing that is interesting about this is that he was carrying on two investigations against two standing Democrats, Bill de Blasio and Andrew Cuomo. So it's interesting to add, and possibly, as Ed Henry has just reported this morning in this show, possibly against President Trump himself. So I think that what brings these issues together is, again, our president, if he's watching, he's running a deficit on truth. It's important to for the public to trust him and to understand what he's saying. Excuse me. The numbers.
Well, look, this is standard form for presidents. I think the Manhattan U.S. attorney, his name should be Preen Bharara, because he just loves milking the headlines on this kind of stuff. It's garbage.
Well, and allegedly the president tried to call him as well the day before that this happened. All right, thank you both for joining us, Pete, Janice. We appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you.
All right, let's check in with Steve Ducey to see what's coming up on Fox and Friends ahead of the storm. Hey, Steve.
What storm?
Yeah.
Is the storm coming?
Just a little one,
A little
maybe.
light spring shower.
Oh, yeah, that explains the shovel over there in the corner that they tell me I'm going to have to start working tonight. Y'all were just talking about the mass firing of 40-some-odd U.S. attorneys. You would make the way the mainstream media is portraying it like it never happened before to this extent, right? Have you seen this?
Breaking news surrounding the sudden order for 46 U.S. attorneys to resign. The abruptness makes this stand out.
The abrupt order on a Friday afternoon after promises were apparently given amidst everything else that's going on at the Trump Justice Department.
It's very unusual. I can't ever remember seeing a case like this.
Oh, come on. It happened with Obama. They have very short memories. We're going to talk about the media bias on that. Plus, you got your brackets ready. The brackets are in all the newspapers this morning. New this time, though, for March Madness, you can actually order a pizza from Pizza Hut with your shoe. I'm not making it up. There's the shoe right there. You push a button, you go on an app. Next thing you know, you've got a pizza. We're going to put it to the test right here in the studio. We're going to order food, Clayton and Heather, from our shoes.
Shoe pizza. It's been a dream.
Shoe enough.
We'll see you in 10 minutes.
Yes,
yes, sir.
Thank you. And we'll be right back right here, so stay with us.
I'm saving.
Could put your risk or your health at risk. Rookie doctors nationwide working 28-hour shifts.
What's wrong with that? Cheryl Casoni from our sister network Fox Business here with the warning. Cheryl, 28 hours?
Well, 28, 24. But, you know, I have to tell you, this proposal is pretty darn scary. We're talking about, of course, medical students that are treating patients in different hospitals. The Accreditation Council for Graduate Medical Education, it's a Chicago group. They are proposing that basically right now, you know, these kids can work 24-hour shifts. They want to put this, right now they work 16-hour shifts. The cap is at 16 hours. They want to push it up to 24 hours. Now, it used to be like this, but then there was a case here in New York. Young patient died who was treated by medical students. They worried about the lack of sleep. Union groups in Chicago, this particular that represent these interns and these students, say that this is kind of too much. So it's a big fight right now that's going on. So the rule isn't actually in place yet, but this is what the medical, the board that advises all doctors and patients across the country is saying they want to do 24 hours. It's a long day.
Yeah, would you want to be the patient at the end of that shift?
Right, in the 23rd hour?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They recommend strategic napping.
Yeah, I recommend that too. And especially when I'm on an airplane, if I can get a good seat where I don't have to be all crunched in now. And now, Washington, Congress getting behind keeping seats larger.
Yeah, a lot of actually congressmen and senators are behind this, including Chuck Schumer, for instance. So yeah, the SEAT Act of 2017 would be a way for the federal government to stop airlines from continuing to shrink the size of seats. So like, for instance, the width of an airplane seat used to be about 18 inches, now it's 16 and a half. The pitch has changed, the rows are smaller. Well, some congressmen and senators are saying, look, this is a safety issue, this is a safety problem, and they want to actually start to regulate this. Of course, Chuck Schumer came out and said, no, wait a minute, these airlines are making big profits, we have to stop that, and that they're using this as a way to just squeeze more money out of, all of us. I don't know about that, but they do say it is a safety issue.
I'm all for bigger seats, but not as much regulation, government regulation. Not a fan of that. So Wendy's, they just made March Madness even better. How?
Yeah, so Wendy's is going to be giving out cheeseburgers. They've got a food truck, and they're going to be driving to different universities with the food truck. They're going to be, in particular, at 3 college campuses, Xavier University, Butler University, and the University of Louisville, all through March Madness. The truck's going to be driving across the country. It's going to end up in Phoenix, Indianapolis, Kansas City as well. Also, if you're not in one of these college towns, there's a hashtag Wendy's Bracket, where you can play a game on Twitter. You can maybe get some free food that way from Wendy's. Burgers.
All right.
Fries.
There's some good news.
Basketball.
I'll take a Frosty.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Thanks.
You bet. We'll be right back. Time for the good, the bad, and the ugly. First up, the good. The oldest Pearl Harbor survivor celebrates his birthday with a huge party. 105-year-old Ray Chavez, all smiles on board the USS Midway in San Diego. His secret to a long life, no smoking, no drinking.
And now the bad. A house in upstate New York coated in ice. Look at that. The porch covered, the walls covered, the roof all covered in thick icicles. And now the ugly. Democrats trying to copycat a Republican book, backfiring. The entirely blank book, Reasons to Vote for Democrats, after becoming a bestseller.
Yeah, and their payback, making the same exact blank book, but calling it Reasons to Vote for Republicans. How unoriginal. But so far, it's failing miserably, holding an average rating of 1 star on Amazon.
The original is always better. Time now for Fox and Friends.
That's right.